my goodness. What is today? What is today? Oh, it is Friday, September 18th, 2020. Welcome to Closing Out the Week with the Closers Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Marco Alvarado, and I'm here to ask you how your week has gone. How has your week been? Tell me real quick. I'll listen. Oh, really? It's been like that, huh? Well, I don't know what you said, but if it's good, I'm glad. I'm happy that you had a good week. If it hasn't been the best week, though, it's going to be better next week. I promise. It definitely will. And if you're a Boston Celtics fan like me, we just have to hope that next week will be better. Because I'm recording this on Thursday, and I just watched the Boston Celtics lose by 5 points to the Miami Heat, 106-101. Another game where we blew a lead. We were up by 17 at one point and just squandered it away. Goran Dragic, I should say, killed us. That dude's a magician, man. That guy is a straight killer. He's an assassin. Shot for 10 of 19 from the field, 25 points, made both of his free throws, hit a three with about a guy who's like 5 inches taller than him, Daniel Tice, looming over him. And Goran Dragic just hits a three in his face to basically seal the game. At that point, it was basically over at that point. At that point, Dragic, I don't know how to fucking talk. Goran Dragic basically took the Celtics' soul away. And, you know, it's really interesting watching this game, these past two games where the Miami Heat have just been better down the stretch. You know, they're very evenly matched, but when it comes down to finishing and closing out these games, Miami is the best team, in my opinion. Next, like right above the Nuggets in closing out games. Both of these teams know how to do that. And it's very, very, very crazy to think that we might have a Miami Heat, Denver Nuggets NBA Finals, which I honestly wouldn't be too mad at. I was expecting something crazy to happen, and that's pretty fucking crazy. But let's get back to this game. The Boston Celtics, in our first game against the Heat, utterly blew it. We had about a minute and a half left on the clock. We were like, I believe we were tied. And what do? We just run out the clock. We don't do anything. Kemba Walker's up at the 3-point line, like about maybe 3 feet behind the 3-point line, and he's just dribbling the ball, running down the clock, the shot clock. And then when it gets to 5 seconds, then he drives and goofs up a layup. And then we have a chance to win the game. Inbound the ball. Give it to Kemba. He dribbles for a little bit, then passes it to Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum stands at the 3-point line, doesn't do shit with the fucking ball, and then just shoots a three. All we needed was a 2 to win the game. And we went for a 3. It made no sense. As Bill Simmons put it, it's clogged toilet basketball. That's what the Celtics played in the first game. In this game, it was basically more of the same. Jason Tatum, I thought, was going to take a leap in this series and show everybody that he is ready to be one of the premier faces of the NBA. I thought that was going to happen. Well, no, that didn't happen. And obviously, he needs more time. He needs more time to grow, to prosper. And I mean, Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart are the two hardest. I'd put Daniel Tice up there too. Those two guys, or those three guys, just lay it all out there every fucking game. But they can't hit shots. Marcus Smart is a better shooter in this series than Jaylen Brown. Yeah, Jaylen Brown. And Daniel Tice, they'll leave him open from 3 all day. So at that point, the scoring comes down to Kemba Walker and Jason Tatum. And when you have Kemba Walker, who only can make 9 of his 19 shots, which is only, 2 points below Goran Dragic, just total. But the point is, Goran Dragic was able to, those points that he scored were efficient points in the sense of he took good shots and he didn't just dribble out and wait for shit to happen and try to do everything on his own. Those were points scored by playing a team game. It's crazy how Brad Stevens is not being talked about or blamed at all for this team's inconsistency in this series. It looks like I'm watching the fucking Houston Rockets. It really does. Here, James Harden, you play. It's your turn to shoot the ball. Thank you, Russell Westbrook. Oh, I missed it. Next time it's you. Okay, now it's our turn. Okay, here you go, Russ. Oh, thank you. I'm going to drive and I'm going to miss it on a wild layup. Okay, cool. That's what I'm watching. And then when they try to get the ball rolling in a team-centric style of basketball play, they turn it over. We had about 20 turnovers in this game. We're lucky that we only lost by 5 points. But the Miami Heat are the better team. They're the more exciting team to watch. Their best player, Jimmy Butler, is a straight dog. He's not scared of anybody. He's been through the ringer in the playoffs. Now, this is his deepest run he's had in the playoffs, I believe. Yeah, I believe so. But he's been in the league long enough to where it offsets. And being in the bubble, it just helps this team. It just does. You can look up and down the Heat roster. They have a great infusion of veteran leadership, veteran grit, toughness, and young legs in great young shooting to offset any sort of weaknesses. This is a really good, well-rounded team. They can go 9 deep on you, and they're fresh. And defensively, they go after it. Everybody goes after it. The Celtics try to go after it. I mean, they hustle, but you got to be effective. And the Heat are effective defensively. I don't know what's going to happen next week, but if you're a Celtics fan, like me, I hope that we can do better. Because this is a joke. This is a joke. We could have won and we should have won game 1. We gave it away. In this game, same thing. We were up by 17 points. 17! And you just let them claw back. It's when we put in our reserves is when we get hurt. Our bench, I thought, was deeper than this, but apparently it's not. So let's just hope, Celtics fans, that we can pull through next week. Or actually, we play Saturday. Let's hope on Saturday, which is tomorrow, that we can win this game. We need to. If we go down 3-0, it's over. We're not coming back 4. We're not coming back 4 straight. Unless Jimmy Butler and Goran Dragic both break their ankles, which I do not want to happen. I do not want that to happen. I don't. But if that does happen, that's the only way we can win if we go down 3-0. Okay. In other news, federal judges block USPS changes that slowed down the mail. So, a federal judge of the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of Washington ruled in favor of 14 states that were seeking to temporarily block changes within the United States Postal Service that were apparently to blame for slowed mail delivery. On Thursday, Judge Stanley Bastian said in his ruling that President Trump and Postmaster General Louis DeJoy are involved in a politically motivated attack on the efficiency of the Postal Service. He said the attack is likely to irreparably harm the state's ability to administer the 2020 general election. USPS lawyers argued the Postal Service is equipped to handle the election even with the closure of distribution centers and removal of mail sorting machines. Enforcing the rule may not be possible since some already implemented changes were permanent. Okay, so what does this mean? in like layman's terms, and I know I speak fast, but basically, the judge ruled in favor of the post office, which I'm very happy that they did, because it is apparent that Trump and his administration are trying to block the postal service from doing what they're able to do to help his campaign. Which, it's interesting to think that they were going to help his campaign at all, because a lot of his supporters are older and will vote by mail. You would think. So he would just be shooting himself in the foot. But regardless, everybody should be able to vote in this country, and even older people. So this is a win. This is a win for democracy. And also, I've worked in the mail service. I've worked in postal and fucking mail, and I've worked at a UPS store before, which I've talked about with Quinn multiple times on the show, and the postal service can definitely handle one piece of mail from everybody in the country, and it's not like everyone's going to even vote. Do you understand how many items get shipped through just the post office on just the post office every year? And you think that they can't handle ballots? Just paper? Come on, you're ridiculous. I don't think people understand just how much mail goes through that service every year. And they're able to get a majority of that on time and intact. Okay? Is the post office the best service around? No. I would quite frankly say every mailing and post service and shipping service sucks, in my opinion. They're trash. All of them. Just from a quality perspective. If you're a consumer of those services, there's a chance that your shit's going to get broken or going to get lost. That's just something you have to fucking accept, okay? But with ballots and paper, the post office, which is part of the government, I don't know if you knew that, but the post office has incentives to prioritize those types of goods, those types of envelopes, those types of letters pertaining to the election. That's their one priority. Well, not one. They have money priorities, but that's their top priority, I should say. So this idea that, oh, well, the post office can't handle all of these letters. No, they can. You just want them to not, so that way you could defund them, which will help your election. That's it. That's all you want. Just say it. Stop lying. Jeez. Makes no sense to me. No sense to me at all. Whew. Okay. We've been talking about this for a minute. So I'm going to close this episode with some TikTok talk. Hey, TikTok talk. Yay. TikTok and the Treasury of the United States reportedly have reached an agreement for the Oracle takeover of the app. Woo! So, TikTok's parent company and Oracle have reportedly agreed to a takeover deal that has the Treasury Department's approval. After suggesting the Chinese-owned video sharing app was a national security risk, President Trump ordered TikTok's owner, ByteDance, to find a buyer for its U.S. operations or risk a total ban. After Oracle submitted its initial offer, Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin, I don't fucking know, reportedly revised the deal's terms and sent it to ByteDance and Oracle on Wednesday night. The revisions were reportedly related to the national security concerns surrounding TikTok's sale. Both ByteDance and Oracle accepted the revisions. ByteDance would like to retain majority ownership of TikTok in a potential deal with Oracle, but Oracle will have to take operational control of the app. So, what does this mean? Well, we have covered this extensively since the beginning of this version of Closing Out the Week, once Season 2 started, and it looks like Trump has gotten his way. Oracle, which is a huge player in the Silicon Valley game, and I believe the owner of the Sacramento Kings actually is a founder or co-founder of Oracle, Vivek Ranadive. But Oracle is going to take over the operations of TikTok. So that means ByteDance still profits from it, but Oracle is going to take over like the maintenance and information that is gathered by TikTok. So that ensures that it will be safe in American hands. Of course, because only our hands are safe, right? It's just our hands. Yeah. I mean, I get it. You don't want to trust China with a bunch of American citizens' information, but it's not like it's only American citizens' information that is in the app. Like there's millions of people across the world that use the app. Their information is also there. So I mean, I understand why Trump would be like, sell it to an American company, but at the end of the day, like, we can do shit with their information. But of course, that's the American adage, As long as we're not the victims, as long as we control, as long as we are in control, then we're fine. That's all this is. It's just America wants to be in control of this new phenomena. That's it. They don't want China to have anything. They don't want to give China more than they already have. I mean, I get it. I understand it, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's a fucking app. It's an app. And you really think that they're going to use an app? They're going to use TikTok. They're going to use TikTok to scam people or to compromise people's personal information? Do you understand how much is just out on the internet already? If China wanted to do that, they don't have to design a giant fucking app in order to steal American information. They do that already. They already do. So does Russia. I mean, come on. There's so many countries who do this, and we do that to them too. Russian and Chinese citizens, we can find their information online. Well, it's harder for China because they ban certain things and they like bar people from, having certain, accessing certain websites and stuff. But still, like, it just doesn't make sense to me. This whole story from the get-go has not made any sense. It just hasn't. It's weird. I just don't understand. But whatever. Okay, so cool. America is now going to have operational control and ownership over TikTok. Hooray. Hooray. How great. All right, well, that brings us to the theme of the week. Woo! Hooray! Theme of the week. Oh my god, my favorite. Yeah. The theme for this week is Remembrance. My dad's mom, my grandma, passed away on September 16th, 2019. And of course, a couple days ago was her anniversary of her death. And it's interesting when you remember people who have helped you grow and have helped you, support you in your life, and somebody that you looked up to and liked being around, and just somebody that provided comfort for you, which has been another theme of this theme on the show before, comfort. But it's interesting. I was talking to my friend who's had a similar experience recently. One of her grandparents passed away a year ago around this same time. And talking to her, it made me realize that, like, losing the people that have helped you grow to age, losing them to age, old age, is like the ultimate lesson, I should say, for our growth as people, as adults. Because when we lose our grandparents, and I can only assume my parents, because I'm fortunate enough to have both of them still around, but just from being around people who have lost their parents, the growth that you go through when you experience a loss to that degree definitely changes you. And for some people, it changes you for the worse, others for the better. And it's up to you to make that choice, really, how it affects you. But at the end of the day, it's kind of beautiful in a way, how somebody's demise can be the final lesson. It can help you learn and grow into the person you're meant to be. And I think that is the greatest gift that my grandma has given to me. And my two grandpas, and my other grandma who recently passed away in July. It's very profound. And so remember those people who have given you that lesson, which is that not everything is permanent. Nothing's permanent, actually. But that's okay. And we have to just make the most of what we got. And if you were fortunate enough to know somebody like my grandma, my dad's mom, then you definitely would have learned that lesson too. And that's all I have for you for this week in this edition of Closing Out the Week with the Closers Podcast. Please follow us on Instagram at the Closers Podcast, on Facebook at Closers Podcast. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are the Closers Podcast on there. Please share these episodes with your favorite people so we can build a community of favorite people, because wouldn't that be nice? We have talked about on the Closers Podcast, which comes out on every Wednesday. We talked about week 1 of the NFL. We talked about our preview for week 2 of the NFL. Then I talked about my Joshua Tree trip that I took with some friends. Quinn talks about some MCU news regarding some new characters that have been casted. So it's really, really, really nice. So it's a really great episode. So I implore you to listen to that one. It came out last Wednesday. And this Wednesday, we have one of Quinn's old childhood friends coming on the show. They're going to shoot the shit, and I'm going to try to get some good stories out of them. So if you're interested in that, please subscribe to this show wherever you listen to your podcasts. We are everywhere. So with that, I will bid you adieu. Have a great weekend. And remember to remember. Take care.